We are back once again in our campaign going through Storm King's Thunder. In the previous weeks, 2 sessions ago, we journeyed to the town of Fireshear, which I'm sure that Tim can find on the map for the people who are streaming and watching this. 2 weeks ago, we had journeyed there to learn how to ride some griffins, which you guys successfully paid to do. You got trained up on griffins, and then as you were getting ready to leave, some giants attacked the town. So you bravely went back and brought them back to their boat, and then actually, that was 3 times ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
3 times ago, you fought them back to their boat. Then 2 times ago, they attacked the second time, right?
Yeah.
And you defeated them as they tried to go and defeat the town. You were able to hold them off through some trickery and melting and unmelting ice. And last week, you guys were ready to leave town. You took a quick little detour to try to make 1,000,000 gold. And that didn't work out so great. But the status quo has been restored, and you all trust each other a little bit more, and are willing to stick together, maybe not journey off on your own quite so much, maybe not attack each other quite as much. I mean, Phileas, you've just been great. Everyone loves you, and you can sing songs, and you are famous throughout the land. And so now you guys are actually in the town of Fireshear still. If we're heading out this way. That's where you were. You just spent the night after being kind of kicked out of the town. Well, some of you were kicked out of the town. You're able to spend the night, get your horses again in the morning because your friendly wizard was still there. And so now you have everything and you are ready again to travel. Where do you want to head?
Towards Hundlestone.
Yeah, that's where we were going to go.
All right. Now, do you want a random encounter?
Actually, wait, no, we had decided that we wanted to go back into Fireshear, right? So right.
Yep.
Weren't you saying you guys wanted to see if you could get that boat out of the ice so you could have a boat?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying.
Now that the people don't like us, we go in there and see if we can explore more.
We already gathered all the giant ears, right? We did that before.
Yeah, you got trophies from some of the giants, and you are basically ready to head out. I'm just looking. Let's see. I'm not finding my little. Here we go. Just because it'll be fun. We'll roll once on our random encounter and see what we get on the way up there. All right. Nice. Just roll another one of these real quick. Okay, so that's a total of 7 and 2 is 9 and 4 is 13. So
13, oh boy.
As you guys are traveling down the road here on the way back towards, I say on the way back towards, but you have not actually been to Hundlestone before. You went the other way around. On the way, as you come up towards the north end of, well, not really the north end, toward the intersection of the Tin Trail and this northern means, you come across whatever I said it was, 13 reindeer that are off in the side of the road, as you typically might see deer off on the road on your travels. So little herd of reindeer going about there. You don't see any other people tending the herd or anything. You think they're probably wild reindeer that are out there. You want to do anything with the reindeer?
I would like to avoid the reindeer.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in anything with reindeer.
They're pretty cool.
Does one of them have a red nose?
No, not that you can tell.
Okay.
You think if you come back in a couple of weeks, probably.
I would like to make a note to come back in a couple weeks to find the reindeer.
Do they have any fat loot that we can tell? They have packs attached to them. A sleigh. That old man.
Nope, they don't. Nope, just a little herd of reindeer. They kind of eye you suspiciously, but they don't seem threatening. And you believe that none of these reindeer would be that challenging, but of course there's 13 of them, so if you did want to try to, really fight these reindeer, you could probably pick off one or two of them if you wanted to without too much trouble. If you managed to get the whole herd to turn against you, you could end up in a bad situation. And you could try to kill them and get their furs to trade.
I'm pretty hungry because Cal got us kicked out of the town. So I kind of want some reindeer steak. Would I reasonably be able to kill and butcher a reindeer and then eat it? Or am I not hungry at all? I feel like I should be hungry.
You guys are traveling out here, so you had some supplies that were given to you when you were leaving Bryn Shander, but some fresh meat would definitely be a step up from what you've been eating on the road.
Do we have anything that we can use to preserve the meat, like salt or whatever? Is that a normal thing that we would have, or?
Yeah, you can get ice very easily because it's frozen all around you. In fact, you could just leave them out. They'll be fine.
You come back in a couple weeks and see if one of their noses changed.
Yeah, kill them all now and then see if one of their noses changes later.
It's easier to find them.
Well,
then you'll get back and be like, "Hey, we left a bunch of dead reindeer over here."
I think we should kill these reindeer, guys.
I mean, totally alive reindeer. I don't know. 13 reindeer against 3 of us.
Well, I have
one person just got his hand back.
Yeah, but he doesn't even remember that.
That's true.
Now you could probably convince your wizard to launch a fireball at him if you really wanted to.
Look, then you don't even have to cook it.
That's true.
Do we have companion whatever Craig's class was? Just walking around with us?
I think he left. I think when was the last time he was here? When you went into Fireshare?
He helped us fight the giants.
Did he?
Yeah. He was there
the first time.
The first time.
Yeah, right when we came in.
Yeah. I think the way it happened is when you were luring the giants out on the ice, he tried to help, and he just got sunk in the water like everybody else.
No, Craig, you're dead. Craig, whatever your character's name, it's dead.
Orlan the second.
Orlan has failed us.
Do you want to take a swing at some reindeer, or do you want to just head on your way? You could easily make it past them. You think as long as you
they're not aggressive,
avoid direct eye contact. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna start heading past them.
I'm gonna kill reindeer, so I really want to kill reindeer and eat them.
Yeah, one reindeer would be plenty for you guys all to eat.
That's good enough for me. I only care about enough to eat.
So we should lure one reindeer away then.
Got some rumbly in my tumbly. You sing a reindeer song, then all of them except for one will probably join in all of our reindeer games.
Yeah, and then that's the one you kill.
that's his fault.
Well, it doesn't mean you go off and play games. You stay here.
Are they all in a 20-foot radius of each other?
I mean, they're like a little bit spread out along the trail. So, there's a kind of a clump of 5 or 6 that are all just kind of right against each other with, a couple little young ones, and then there's a scattering of other ones that are kind of spread out along the edge of the what little bit of woods there are there. There's kind of a little grove of trees, and you can see they're kind of picking at the bark and rooting around for leaves and things.
Wait, what's important about a 20-foot radius for you, Trace?
That's the radius of a fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, as long as they're any of them that are within 40 feet total, you can pretty much, could hit with a fireball if you want to try to. Yeah, a fireball would be able to hit. Let's just say, I'll roll for it. I'm gonna say 2d10, and we'll see what number that turns out to be.
Dang.
All of them.
4 more reindeer spontaneously burst on fire.
Good point. Let's say 1d10. Because maybe that would be a more sensible number.
We should average those 2 numbers and then call it.
Okay, let's do it. So on add up 6 and 17.
11.
Divide by 2.
We round
And give
up.
us 3 results.
We round up.
It's 11.5.
Wait, not you guys. You're supposed to be people who are watching on Twitch.
Oh, I thought you said we were supposed to do that.
Tell us in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know if we did our math wrong.
I probably did my math wrong. I'm just going to say that right now.
All right, so I'm going to say you can get 11 of them, and there'd be 2 of them that would be they're far enough spread out that you still have 2 more to deal with.
Would I be able to get off my horse and kind of like sneak into the woods?
Yeah.
To,
Yeah.
not know
as long as you do it from a ways back, and it seems like you're hitting it kind of away from them, you can probably do it without startling them too much. So, give us a stealth roll, and you can see where you can make it. Oh yeah, they don't even notice you.
All right, and then I'm just gonna chill out and wait for our wizard to throw a fireball, and then I'll shoot one of the remaining 2 that are alive with a short bow.
All right, so you're gonna get ready to shoot at one of them.
Yeah.
From the woods, and what are the other 2 of you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna wait till the fireball happens, then I'm gonna run into them.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. I'm gonna misty step into them.
I'm going to wait and just hang out and watch.
Are they within 30 feet?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be, I guess it depends. Do you want to be 30 feet away from the ones who are also getting fireballed, or do you want to be? I'm going to say there's one kind of on each end that would be, missed by the fireball.
I'm going to be on the opposite side of where Kel is at.
Okay, I'll say Kel went to the farther away one because he's hiding in the woods, and you're on the closer one, kind of on the path there. See what happens. Let's see. So, Zagadou gives a tremendous shout and waves his arms dramatically, and a tiny little spark. Yeah. Tiny little spark flies off of his fingertip and just wafts through the air until it lands in the midst of them, and then it explodes in 40 feet of fire. Which technically he can make it so it wouldn't have hit you anyways. You could have stood right in the middle of them and just watched them all cooked alive around you.
Yeah, but wouldn't it like scare them?
Yeah,
To have a
that's true.
paladin, a paladin just teleports next to the deer, and
Yeah.
they're like, don't worry about that dwarf.
Meep.
No, I think that's better actually. You should totally Misty Step right before he does the fireball.
And just teleport in, and fire expands around me.
Yeah, you pop into existence right in the midst of them, and just as they kind of all turn their heads to look, fire envelops all of them, and they get to make dex saves in a traditional sense. However, even if they were able to dodge the fire to the best of their reindeer abilities, not enough. You see the hair on just their whole bodies, because they're covered in hair, start to crisp up and curl, and with their large, deep brown eyes, they stare at you with a certain sadness as the life drains from their bodies, and they all fall to the ground, smoke still curling off of their carcasses. And the two on the end, they get ready to respond to this, but before they get to, Kel gets to take a shot at one of them because he was ready for that. Yeah, so he hits one of them with an arrow and wounds it pretty well. No, he kills it actually. It turns out, because he gets the sneak attack off. So, yeah. He puts one down, which even as he does it, he's like a little bit saddened that he's killing the last of this herd, knowing that there's no way you're eating a dozen elk tonight. And but he extinguishes its life as it pours down the shaft of his arrow. It slumps gently to the ground, looking at the dead bodies of its herd mates. And Minphilius, what were you doing?
I'm just watching.
You're just watching.
Yep.
Watching. I mentioned like a little tear down one eye.
Just mass murder.
At the pathetic waste of what scant wildlife exists around here. And Balgus, did you want to take a swing at one of them?
Yeah, I do.
Unmoved by the plight of the forest and the tundra animals, he takes a swing. But luckily for the reindeer, it has an armor class of 10. So
Great.
So the one reindeer who's left bolts off to get away. Now, that reindeer would technically still be in range, Cal, if you wanted to take another shot. You could, because what's your short bow's range?
Good question.
How do attacks of opportunity work?
Oh yeah, that's true. You could use your reaction to try to take a second swing at it.
Oh wait, and I get a second attack each round, anyways. Actually,
you could use the attack of opportunity to take a third attack after the second attack, but you don't need to because your second attack hits it and wounds it badly. But it's still up. Since it's actually been hurt by you, it's not going to run away then. It is just going to... well, it's not going to charge at you, I can tell you that much. It'll just use its antlers there, and I'm assuming a 12 probably does not hit you.
No, 18.
Yeah, so it engages its horn, its antlers up against you, and presses on your armor, and kind of shakes around a little bit, but it doesn't really hurt. It's a little bit pathetic, and you can see its neck is bleeding there. And Minphilius, did you want to do anything?
No.
No. You don't say anything. You don't respond.
No. Just
You
gonna
just watch the carnage.
Mm-hmm.
The
All
short
right.
bow has a the first range increment is 80 feet, and the second range increment is 320.
Yeah, so actually, you have plenty of he's well within range because he didn't actually run away. Otherwise, he could have ran to your, with disadvantage range or whatever.
Yeah, I guess I'll shoot at the deer. So,
Yeah, that'll hit the reindeer, and it dies there. It's as it falls to the ground, its antlers just kind of slide down the body of Balgus. It like half-heartedly turns and kind of laps at the blood coming from this wound on its flank, and with one last kind of look of its eyes out into the woods where Kel's standing, brings its head down and dies. Hey, could you guys all make perception checks while you're at it? Why does the first one not have someone's name on it?
because
Oh,
it's mine.
Because it was
It's still-
Kel's.
It's still inside like my previous action.
It's still in your things.
My
Minphilius,
Yes.
you do notice on the icy hillside a little ways away, not really that close to you, but you do see the shape of a person up on the hillside, and it kind of turns and disappears out of sight as you watch.
Okay. I'm gonna tell the other two immediately that I saw someone up on the hillside.
Santo will remember this.
Well, I'm going to check this twice.
Don't worry, we're coming back too in 2
Let's
weeks.
see. Let's see. That was Cal, Minphilius, and Balgus.
Hey,
And
hey,
Zagadou.
I don't think there should be anything happening to me.
Whoa. I just stood there and said nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't help, but I didn't stop it.
I'm not a bad guy.
I can't keep walking by myself.
So, guys, maybe we should eat all of these real quick so no one questions it.
Dig in.
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys want to spend some time, do you want to, you could basically skin these all and take their hides, which the people around here are trappers and hunters, and, you could just kind of pile them into the snow and mark where they are. You can just roast one up right now. What do you guys want to do?
Could I start cleaning them, but leaving their skin on? Because could I tie a whole bunch to my horse and have my horse drag them to Hundlestone?
Yeah, if you wanted to drag them, you could do that. If you're just dragging them against the ground, you think they'd be pretty torn up. But if you have some way to improvise a little bit of a sled or something that you could make, you could drag quite a few of them. If you just want to, I guess you have 4 horses between the 4 of you guys, so you could each horse could have one, could basically have one slumped across it. If you wouldn't have to quarter it, you could basically gut it.
Yeah. So then could I start gutting them? And
Yeah.
maybe is there anything around to make a sled?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of trees there, so you could make a pretty crude, basically a stick raft that you could lash together and tie up to your horses if you have. I assume you guys probably have some rope and.
Yeah.
So, if you have, I think your climbing supplies normally have little steel spikes and things. You could kind of knock down some trees and spend a couple hours doing that.
Yeah, I'll just help with that, I guess.
The guy that's up on the hill, was he on a mountain or was he just up on a hill beside us?
It's not really a mountain. It was just in the so kind of northwest, if so you guys are off basically at the intersection, and then he would be, just a little bit off the trail. You saw he was close enough that he could be able to see what you guys were doing, and he would have been able to see this herd of reindeer, of course. but far enough away that it would take some running to go catch up with him if you really wanted to try to track him down. It didn't seem like he was trying to run from you, what you saw, but it looked like he had watched the scene and kind of lost interest with it after you slaughtered a herd of reindeer.
Mm-hmm. I was just more interested in going up there and seeing if I could learn a little bit more about what it was, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you could. While the other two are kind of working, you could hang up there to the top of the hill. It would only be like, it's not like super far away. If you want to go like a 5-minute walk or 10-minute walk, basically, you could go up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tell August and Kel first that I'm going up there because I saw someone.
Okay, there you go.
And I'm just gonna head up there. I'm not gonna like run up there to try to catch him or anything.
Sure. Yeah. While the other.
Well, I'm heading up there. Can I have active perception? I'm actively scanning for anything, traps.
Yes, you want to check out what's going on out there.
Yeah.
You do see this is like a snow. It's all snowy, frozen ground and actual snowfall that's kind of accumulated, and so there are like scattered tracks all around, but none of them seem terribly fresh or give you much to go off of with that. Okay. You can tell this is kind of like a traveled area, especially since there's some trees right over there. It's an area where especially animals kind of collect, because it's a lot of it's just kind of barren land. So you have some vegetation. You can tell there's probably a stream that flows here in the springtime and summer. And so the leftover food and stuff from the summer, animals are still able to go and collect. As you get up to the top of the hill, you don't immediately really see anything over on the other side, just continuing ice and stone. And if you want, you can kind of take a moment to try to scan around the area and see if you can find anything. If you want to give me a perception check. Yeah,
that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, you are able to pick out, kind of just blending in with the rocks and ice almost. There is like kind of a low hut that's set up, not that far away, probably another like 300 yards farther down on the other side of the hill.
Okay.
You can tell it's clearly built by materials that were found nearby. It's not it's not like a stone house or anything. It's kind of a stick and mud structure, but you're not able to really tell if it's is it something that hunters are using, if it's it doesn't look like an animal made it, but real technologically advanced or anything.
Okay. I think going off of the cues from last time, I am not going to go separate myself from the party, so I'm going to head back.
All right.
And when I get back, I'll tell both about the hut that I found up there. And I think that the person that was watching us is from that hut.
Oh man, Tea Leaf, we should totally go check it out.
I mean, I'm game for checking it out, but I don't want to go do it by myself. Because last time someone went by themselves, things happened.
They blew up.
Yes, literally. They literally blew up.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool time, is all I have to say. But yeah, I'll go with you.
Okay. So then
Valgus, are you gonna head over there with them?
Yeah, I mean, are we just gonna leave all this deer meat here, or are we going to like bring it along with us, or?
Yeah, I mean, in that time, he hasn't been gone real long, so you've only like partially cleaned these animals, and you have a pretty good collection of sticks and things that are in place there, but you haven't actually completely built a little sledge or anything out of it. if you wanted to continue doing that first, you could potentially do that, or you could kind of leave your work partially done and find this little hut first.
I'm gonna stick with the reindeer then. Just keep preparing it and whatnot.
All right.
Okay.
You guys come back over the hill, and you can make out the little hut there. You don't see any real activity around it. And there's no like smoke coming out of it right now or anything. So, it's just it's looks dark or whatever. You can't tell from where you are at the distance. So we'll just continue walking up to it. Do you want to sneak up to it? What do you want to do?
I would like to sneak up to it.
I am going to actively scan again, but I'm just going to walk up to it.
Okay.
Since I know that Kel's going to be sneaking.
Sure. Yeah. So you kind of just walk up. I assume making a little bit of extra noise, basically. Walking. In a way that would, if someone's inside, they won't be surprised that you are walking up to the door.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, piss him off by sneaking up to him. I'm just trying to go up.
Yeah, so you're kind of walking up to the door. Kel, he kind of takes off from you across, and it's mostly kind of open land around there, but there's rocks and snow and stuff. But he kind of sees the hut and kind of goes back down the hill, back towards the reindeer, and then circles around, and you can only assume that he is actually making his way to the hut, because that's what he told you he was going to do, but you don't see any kind of sign of him as you're walking up. Anyway, as you get close to the hut, you can see that there actually is a little bit of light coming out of it. It's not it's not completely dark inside, but they don't have like a raging fire or anything going in there.
Okay. I'm just going to approach, and I'm going to knock on the door and ask if anyone's there.
Sure. Yeah, the door is basically, lashed together branches that are just, they're all tied together, and then one side of it's tied to the wall, so it kind of makes a hinge out of rope, essentially. And you kind of call out and give it a good rap, and you hear a little bit of rustling inside, and someone comes to the door, and they kind of push the door open, and you see a man who is very, very scraggly beard. You can see he's dirty. He's covered in bits of twigs and not so much leaves and things because it's winter time, but just like bits of even like little like moss and broken sticks that are on him, and very just kind of an earthy feel out of the sky that you're getting. He comes to the door, and he kind of scowls at you, and he says, "What have you done?"
What do you mean, what have we done?
"I saw you hunting this herd. You're worse than the hunters of this area."
Well, we came across this herd, and we haven't eaten for a while, so we need something to eat. Unfortunately, rather than taking down one, we took down all of them. So since I saw you, I figured I'd come and talk to you and see if maybe that was something that you were interested in. You wanted something to eat as well.
There's little you can do for them now, of course. If you have taken them, you must use them. That is the way of the land.
I agree with you. And would you like to come and share that with us, since we have someone down there that's already cooking some of them? Would you like to come down and have something to eat as well?
I will not share a meal with those who slaughter animals in this way. I saw you, your friends at least, killed them for sport or for their own evil purposes, but surely this is more than you could eat. You do not seem to be from around here. I doubt you're hunting for the village.
We're not hunting for a village, but we're hunting for trade as well. So we'll be bringing this up to Hundlestone with us.
You couldn't have left the younglings at least?
If we attack one, the whole herd's going to attack us.
Do you fear reindeer so much?
We fear reindeer in large numbers.
These animals are non-threatening. They're not lions. I know not what land you come from, but here reindeer, when attacked, will scatter from people. Perhaps a male will defend the herd, but you can hunt that one and let the others leave. You have caused a great injury to this land.
Well, what would you propose we do, though, instead?
Well,
with our current, all the reindeer are dead. That's a fact now. So if you don't want us to waste them, are you going to help us with them?
it is only right we use what you have taken, but the balance must be kept here. I would say let us take the meat to Hundlestone and allow the men there to use it, and give them a fair price, or just gift them with the meat. Perhaps they will curtail their hunting in this area. Let them know which area you brought it from, and maybe they can do their future hunting farther towards the Coffin Vale.
That's something we can do. I'd have to talk to my friends about this, but I'd say we head down there and see what we can do with all this.
Yes. In this land, I recommend you avoid this area. I am Marov, and I protect this land. I do not appreciate the poaching that you have done.
Well, Marv, what else do you protect here? Is there a lot of wildlife, or are you just protecting this one little herd of reindeer?
No, I am part of the Emerald Enclave. I preserve the natural order, root out what is unnatural in these lands. With the threat of giants here, I have done my best to keep them away from this little valley, but they are laying waste. The hill giants are ravaging the woods and the fields farther to the south. The stone giants are taking out the homesteads and the farms of people. Us giants around here are clogging up the mountain passes, and though they leave the herds alone, for the most part, their raids against men force the hunters out deeper and deeper into the ice. We have been blessed that no fire giants have come here, for their wrath on these icy plains would undo the work of ages in growing what little is here.
It sounds like you know a lot about the area, and I'd like to know more about it. But how about you come with me first and come back with our friends, and we can talk about this a little bit more over dinner.
Yes. Well, perhaps I can teach your friends a thing or two about proper hunting.
Any help would be accepted.
And so he'll accompany you. And Kel, are you gonna reveal yourself standing out there, or are you just gonna kind of sneak back around?
All right, he's gonna pillage the place. How can you even ask that question? Have you been in this game of D&D? This guy's coming back to an empty house.
This was not part of my plan.
It's a bold move. Like, hey, dude, how about you leave the place when I just brought a rogue in who's gonna steal everything?
Yeah, but I do want to poke around his house.
I know.
I forgot.
Of course you
I
do.
can't be nice in this. I can't be nice because Kel's just gonna mess everything up I try to do.
Very funny, guys. But actually, yes, I am going in the house.
Yeah, this is all super funny, but yeah, I'm actually doing that.
Yeah.
And I would like to check for traps.
Sure. Yeah. You know, inside the house, I mean, it's not hardly a room at all. has before he leaves, he puts out a little candle that is in the room there, and he comes out. You can see he's dressed in in like natural fur, but it's not like it doesn't even look like he butchered an animal to dress himself. It's like he collected bits of fur that were torn off an animal, or like you don't know how, but it almost looks like he sheared a reindeer to get the reindeer hair to like make the stuffing and everything for this kind of cloak that he has. And other than that, it's not really crudely done. It actually seems like fine workmanship, but it's done in a way that like almost preserves all the parts of it. So it has clear areas that are hair patched together, and areas that are leaves and things like that. But they're all preserved in large pieces. It's not like even the large portions of it are like really fine grass just woven together, and the whole blade of grass is all preserved. So he's wearing like doesn't look like he's just completely unskilled or anything. I think he's there, and he has kind of a walking stick that he has, and basically he just comes with you with nothing else that he's carrying. And as you guys head over the hill, Kel, you're able to kind of check it out a little bit and get inside. You notice inside this little hut, there's kind of a little bed area, and the bed is basically just a pile of leaves, essentially, like pine needles and some like dried out leaves that are all there, and it's kept in place by basically like three sticks that are make three sides of a bed, and the other side is just against the wall. And there's also a little bit of a table and a chair that's there, and there's a what appears to be some kind of journal on the table, and then over to one side there is a kind of a little box that, again, it seems like looks like it's just been kind of shaped out of the earth and stone and stuff that's right there. It's not like a machined treasure chest or anything like that, but it is some type of box that's set up in the corner.
Can I check out the box?
Yeah. You want to check it for traps?
Yes.
Yeah, make a make a perception check.
I'd like to reverse time for 15 minutes and not do what I just did. And
yeah. As you kind of check this out, it doesn't look like. This looks like it's a real kind of crude box thing built into the wall of the thing, and it has a lid on it, but it's not. There's not even a mechanism that could be set up for latching it or anything. So you think it would be safe to open. And as you kind of check that out, you also do see that actually built. This one kind of sticks out from the wall. It's about like 2 feet high, essentially. Box that's sitting on the wall, but there's also, you notice on the wall across from the doorway, there is something of a little like opening that's covered up, and that one is kind of more concealed in the wall, but you're able to pick that out too. But the one in front of you doesn't seem to have any kind of latch on it.
Yeah, I'll open the box in front of me.
Yeah, that one, as you look into it, you notice that it has it seems like there's some kind of waste and stuff in it, and does not have a good smell. You can't tell exactly what's in it, but it does smell bad, and just looks a little slimy in there. If you wanted to poke around in it, you certainly could. You might.
I'll just put it back where it was.
Sure.
Could I check out the journal?
Yeah, the journal. It has pages and pages of notes, but unfortunately, you are not able to read what's written in the journal. It's not in the language that you understand. But you are able to see a couple little little maps that are there, and just from what you know of the area, you do know that he has marked a yeah, he has marked one location which you would say is probably somewhere in the uh, far to the south in the what's known as the Desserin Valley. He has marked a little spot over there, and you can't tell what might the importance of that be, but you do know that that is um, basically, I don't know, if you zoom the map out somewhat, the Desserin Valley is basically the area um, like from Waterdeep north a little bit. You can see that on the map. You can see kind of where. Oh, actually, it says Desserin Valley on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's all this area here. It refers to this, this whole kind of general area, kind of in the middle of that, kind of like around Red Larch and everything. Do you think it's actually somewhere kind of on the northern section of that, kind of up where it says Crypt Garden Forest? You think somewhere over there is marked, and just from his note, you can tell it's maybe some type of structure or something there that it seems to just for some reason he made a mark of that area, and also you do see what you can't read is the name Everlund, Everlund. You can pick that out on another page. Besides that, nothing else really is able to catch your, you don't know enough about how this was written to to tell anything else about it, really.
Okay. So I'm just gonna leave, and
You're not going to try to open the other one in the wall.
no.
Okay.
Kind of go north, and then back to the east to head
Sure.
back to the other guys, like making
Yeah,
a wide loop.
Yeah. So you can kind of come out on the path a little ways up, and then walk basically back down the road to see them.
Kind of like a this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem. You're able to get around there without attracting any attention, as the other guys have kind of gone ahead of you, and you didn't take real long in there. You just basically looked in his toilet and saw his book. So.
The important things.
You can tell a lot about a man by his poo.
They're like, you may need more fiber.
Okay, so we get back to Balgus.
Yeah.
How's the cooking coming along?
Yeah, now you've had a little bit of time when you went out there and talked with him, and I assume it was more than just a couple of minute conversation. So it took you a little bit to convince him to come back and everything. So Balgus actually made pretty good progress here, and yeah. So when you get up, the animals are basically all cleaned a little bit, so you could actually travel with them if you wanted to. And he's still putting together kind of a little bit of a sledge to drag them behind, where you can pile a few of them up.
Just want to have like a leg or something that I'm just gnawing.
Yeah, you definitely found time to like start a little bit of a fire, and even though it you know, you haven't really cooked a whole animal on it yet, there's like one like upper shoulder that you've essentially like just gleaned off that section and stuck it in the fire. And you know, every couple of minutes as you're working, you go over there and take a couple bites out of it, and kind of eat this, you know, still like fairly rare meat as it's just been kind of sitting in there. You're eating off the cooked edges of it as you're working. So the piece that remains on the fire is still like, you know, pretty rare. And every time some of it gets done enough to eat, you kind of trim off that with your mighty teeth.
Every time something gets done enough to eat, it doesn't get done.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to introduce Balgus to our newfound person. I don't know if we can call him a friend yet, but and I guess Balgus, would you be willing to share some of the food with him?
Yes, there's plenty. Plenty can eat.
Okay, so then we'll sit down and have something to eat. Then is Kel coming around as well, as he's still a ways away?
Yeah, I'm assuming Kel's, you know, just you know, timid. By the time you've kind of made some introductions and he's chastised Balgus a little bit, and you know, everything from, you know, why he hunted so many animals and
what? What? I said I wanted only one. I didn't throw a fireball. I didn't even kill one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
I did nothing. Yeah, he slaps Zagadou straight in the face, and you know, you know, when Kel comes up, he's still just kind of berating you guys that are there, and you know, when Kel shows up, he looks at you, and you know, now you kind of attracted his attention, so he is you know, angry with you and criticizes you a little ways too, as you guys are kind of getting there, and you know, it takes you guys about another 45 minutes to really get a good chunk of meat that's cooked up and ready to eat. And you know, in that time, you're able to get the little, you know, some things lashed together so you could transport the rest of them. So by the time you sit down to eat, he's about done yelling at you guys, and you know, he's kind of calmed down a little bit. And you can see that he's like gone to every reindeer and kind of almost cradled it in his arms, and you know, kind of muttered a few words over each one of them, which you haven't really caught the meaning of, but you know, you can tell this is something that he really cared about. You can't tell if it's just these animals specifically, or if he would just do that for like anything that he found dead, but he at least takes it seriously.
Okay.
I'd like to stab Tea Leaf to see if he does the same thing.
Yeah, he cradles Minphilius's dead body. And...
Wait, I just died? Oh man, this is
like, oh, he would do the same thing.
That's cool.
What a loving person.
By the end of the night, you know, he closes all of your eyes and buries you peacefully in the ground, and that's the end of our adventure.
Wow, that was great.
You just made the wrong guy mad. Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to try to talk to him or get any other information for, you know, with him, you know, it's clear to you that he's not planning on traveling with you, but he at least is, you know, you even think that he's having a meal with you, not just because he really wanted the meal necessarily, but to kind of make sure you were doing things right and not, you know, not wasting, you know, part of the animal, or you know, mistreating them even as you've killed them already.
Okay.
I would like to apologize for our excessive hunting, which I am lying about.
What a surprise.
Yeah. He believes that that you are genuinely sorry, and you can see he kind of perks up a little bit because he can tell he made a difference in kind of your attitude towards nature, and you know, yeah, what you did was pretty bad, but he's seen worse, and at least you learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah, and I would just like to continue talking to him about nature and learning stuff about nature, if possible.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell that he's just eager to talk to you about anything in the area, and you also do learn that he is, even though he's in this area now and kind of watches over it, he's done plenty of traveling, so he knows all around here. And if you have any, you think you could probably just name any area, and he'd be able to give you at least something of a heads up about it.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Is there any area you want to ask about or not?
I mean, I want
be going
like
up.
I want to ask him if he's been around the Desarin Valley at all.
Yeah. Yeah. He see, what was his voice sounding like again? Yes, I've traveled extensively all through this land. Tribor was my home for 6 months one winter. What would you like to know about the valley?
Just the surrounding areas around like Triborn or Tribor.
Yes, it's a mostly peaceful land, although there have been some troubles there recently. It's had a bit of trouble with a few of giants, of course, who've been everywhere, it seems like. But it seems that some hill giants have taken up living in the valley there. Let's see. But besides that, I think the people had faced the usual kind of troubles around the area. There have been rumblings of giants moving around there. I have heard that the town of Tribor has actually faced some difficult times recently, but I don't think they've been doing too badly just now. I definitely say if you go down that way, you should stop in at Tribor and see them. There's not too much else to do in the area there. That's the biggest town in the valley proper.
So what is this guy's name? Can I ask him his name? I don't.
Yeah, his name was Marov.
Okay.
I'd like to ask him because he says that he knows about the land in this area, and I ask him if he's noticed anything weird beyond the giants themselves. If there's been anything unnatural or weird throughout the land that he's noticed.
Well, the giants are, of course, the main thing in the area. That's the new thing that's going on. We've had, well, of course, you have the occasional dragons, but those have tempered down somewhat recently. Besides that, I think in this area up here, I wouldn't say there's too much else to worry about.
Okay.
You'd be relatively safe if you stay in the Icewind Dale area for a while. I'd say you don't have too much to worry about up here.
Okay, that's pretty much all I wanted to ask about.
I want to ask if he knows anything about. What was that guy? The guy that they were yelling about, the first Frost Giants when we were in Icewind Dale?
Yeah, you could totally ask about him. Do you know who
Artist
he
Simber?
is? Yes,
Yeah, Artist Simber.
that's true.
That's what I was looking for, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, he tells you, artist, yes, of course. Famous man in this area for seems a few months every year or two. Though I haven't seen him around for quite some time now.
What's he famous for?
Mostly for being immortal.
It's a famous thing.
When you're immortal, you do quite a few things, and in the end, it all comes down to you've just lived much longer.
How old is he?
Oh, I'd say he couldn't be more than 200, 300, maybe 800.
Okay.
I know he's stayed quite the same age since the oldest elf I know was but a boy. But then such tales you can never know the truth of. If you do meet him, perhaps ask him.
Is there anything that we need to know if we do meet him? Like, don't say this will upset him type stuff.
Well, he'd be upset by anything you could do.
Burn.
He would not?
No, he's a fairly easygoing man, but I think that comes from being immortal. Not much to bother you.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions or anything.
Yeah, I would like to ask him if he's been to the Sword Mountains, Crypt Garden Forest, or the Desarin Hills.
Oh, yes, I've traveled quite a bit through these areas. If you travel that way, just know that little ways south of Westbridge, in the Sumber Hills, hill giant raids have been increasing more and more. In fact, I believe there is a giant who's taken up residence there.
Sorry, the Sumber Hills? Is that what you said?
Yes, near the Sumber Hills. Are you familiar with Red Larch?
Not really.
Are we familiar with that?
Not really. We're new to the area.
Oh, well, as you travel that way, if you come to Red Larch, you've gone too far.
Kind of out of character. We had a place that we were talking about trying to go to.
Yeah, that's true.
That wasn't it near Griffin's Nest? I don't remember why we were trying to go there. Someone else was trying to go there.
Xanthral's Keep. It's because
that's true.
Guy
you had a mission to Xanthral's
Sir Barek is looking for may or may not be there.
Oh, okay. Then I'd like to ask him a little bit about Xanthral's Keep. Just, basic information. If it's safe to go through, to take the long road through the crags, that type of stuff. I know we talked about flying by Griffin, but I just want to know, is there anything that we need to worry about in the area?
Yeah. I mean, he can tell you that Xantharl was a famous ranger and explorer of the area, and Xantharl's Keep is basically just it's a city kind of off by itself, but it's pretty well defended, and the long road that heads out to it is notoriously dangerous and rugged. He doesn't think that you would have too much trouble, heading out there, because you guys seem like people who at least could do well against a herd of deer. But
A whole herd.
Yeah, a whole herd. All at once. They did nothing to you, and you could cut them down with no problem, couldn't you? But it does warn you that even you should be careful, because if you were taking that long road south from Mirabar, that stretch of it around there, especially going through these crags, they're known for bandits and things that will come up.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think that's good.
To Hundlestone.
Yep.
With
Yeah, as
deer.
A lot of deer.
yeah, you
Are we
guys
able
make it.
to take all the deer?
Yep. Yeah, you can basically stay till morning, because you guys have stayed up late talking to him about just naming random places and seeing if he knows anything about it. And you've been impressed by his knowledge, and you have no reason to doubt what he's told you. Not that you were able to verify the truthfulness of what he said, but as far as you know, he's been happy to talk to somebody. You feel like he's a lonely guy, and just honestly shared with you about the area. As you come up to Hundlestone, you are going uphill to Hundlestone, and as you get up there, all the kind of vegetation basically falls away, and there's just a few shrubs and moss that cling to the rocks up there. And when you get up to Hundlestone, you see that there are low buildings that seem to kind of nestle into the rock the same way these these little shrubs and things are, just rooted in there, with steep pitched roofs and low built buildings with their rooms kind of cut into the soil and the rock there. That the town is mostly dwarves and gnomes, and you hardly go anywhere through town before you're warned more than once by these border folk. How many of you guys are tall?
I mean, I'm a half elf.
You're half up, so you're tall.
I'm a halfling, so I'm not tall.
I'm a dwarf.
You're short, and Balgus is short. Yeah, so Kel, you get warned by by a couple of these gnomes that kind of chuckle at you and warn you that you should get inside quick before you're blown away up there. And basically, Hundlestone is kind of the last outpost of real civilization on your way kind of out into the wilderness out here. Although, of course, you've already been farther along than this. You've been up to Bryn Shander, and you've been up to Ironmaster and some of these other towns. But it's kind of the end of this. If you look down there, the northern means basically ends just before you get to Hundlestone. So it's kind of the last stop where people would go. And as you get in town, you see that these people are miners. They seems like exclusively are children, and all the adults are gone. No, I'm kidding. They're miners who mine ore.
Miners.
Yeah.
Miners.
Yeah. You can see that they dig up ore, and there's iron and tin that they're digging up here. Not really precious metals, but there's all kinds of little tunnels and mine entrances that go there, and every once in a while you go and kind of poke your head in one as you're walking through the area, and people warn you that you could get lost in there, because some of these things go down for miles.
So could I crouch down by one of the gnomes that were making fun of me, and kind of just say super low so only they can hear me, and I'm gonna try to intimidate him, and say, You better watch out before I blow you away.
Yeah, yeah,
and smile.
yeah. These are simple folk, and so as they kind of laughed at you a little bit, then to see your response, they like kind of startle and take a couple steps back, and then as you smile, uh, they have a moment of like, wait, what's going on? And then they laugh with you, and you can see they're basically good-hearted people. And do you guys remember what you were trying to do in Hundlestone?
We were
Selling
looking
a
for
whole
somebody.
bunch of deer meat.
We're
Yeah.
selling a lot of deer meat.
We were meeting up with somebody for Ogrek, I thought. Or was it?
Yeah. So we were looking for what? Thwip Iron Bottom.
Yes, you're looking for Thwip, and if you kind of ask around, you're able to easily get pointed to a little storefront for Thwip. And before you do that, I assume you can kind of sell your the reindeer that are there, and do you give them a good price, or do you try to haggle and get the most you can out of these?
Give them a
reindeer?
good price.
Yeah, pretty good price.
All right, now this isn't a real large town, and of course it's not like they had asked you to go and bring them a zillion pounds of reindeer meat, so they're grateful for it, but they're not prepared to pay a huge amount for it. But for the basically 12 reindeer that you have left, um, they're able to give you 20 gold for each one of them. So you get 240 gold that you can split between the three of you. You each get 80 gold. And they point you to Thwip. And Thwip is he's in he has a little storefront that's there, and the sign is a mechanical sign, which you haven't normally seen before, but instead of just being kind of a piece of wood hanging from a pole, it is actually geared all together and has a little like windmill thing over the top edge, which is spinning quickly, and then that drives a couple other gears, and it makes the sign, instead of just hanging there flapping, the sign actually kind of like it sits like this and it's just like slowly turning, and it says Thwip Iron Bottom, inventor.
Let's go in.
Yeah, inside you see all kinds of little. I assume all you guys are going to basically go in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so inside you guys see all kinds of little devices and things that you. Some of them are pretty pretty simple looking. You can see he has a couple little like child's toys that are just like a ball or a hoop and things like that. Simple little things that are you know as you kind of pick them up, they are fine craftsmanship, and some of them even have like little etching around them and some kind of patterns, uh, but nothing real fancy. Um, then you also see that there's like in the center a couple larger pieces that are one of them looks like a person made out of iron, um, and its arms kind of move and its head kind of can rotate back and forth and even follow you as you kind of walk around the store a little bit. Um, and you also see that he has kind of a kind of out of place, in the store of these kind of mechanical things. He also has a little row of animal cages and a handful, about 4 or 5 little animals that are in cages up there. So, they're just like a little dog, a cat, a rabbit, another dog, and a little hedgehog.
Are they like bionic animals?
As far as you can tell, first glance as you're kind of just looking at them, they just look, basically pretty normal. I mean, do you want to try to inspect one of the animals?
I want to look at the hedgehog.
Yeah. Give me a perception check here. Actually, give me a nature check. Yeah, it's a just completely normal hedgehog. Nothing really stands out to you about it. I mean, you're not taking it out of its cage or anything, but you can see it and just kind of scurrying around its cage and kind of burrowing in the little like fluff and stuff at the bottom of the cage, and if you wrap on the cage, it kind of scurries around a little bit.
I would just like to kind of like raise my voice a little bit and just say, Mr. Ironbottom, hello.
Yeah, and you hear another voice call out from the back, and you hear some clattering and stuff as he comes out to the front desk, and he says, "Well, hello. What brings you here?"
No, no.
I'm actually quite amazed about this hedgehog. Is it real?
Oh, yes, it's real. There's no illusion here. All this is real items. You can pick them up and hold them and everything. Yeah. And he takes the, he kind of pushes around. He's a gnome, so he's quite a bit shorter than you, but he kind of, pushes around you, and he has this little like wheeled step stool that he slides around, and at first it seems like it's just a normal little like step with a couple little wheels on it, but you see that as he steps up onto it, it extends himself higher, and you can see he actually has a little like foot pedal he can raise and lower it with to get to the height he wants. And so he gets the little hedgehog cage down and brings it back to his things. He opens the cage, and the hedgehog scurries out and he says, Yes. Look. It's real, I show you. And it kind of scurries over his hands, and he kind of motions for you to hold your hand out for it.
I'll hold my hand out for it.
Yeah. He sets the hedgehog, on your hand, and you can see it. It's not an illusion or anything. It's it's a real thing, and you can feel the weight of it, and you can feel it kind of go cold against your hand as it scurries around a little bit.
I'm gonna go look over at Balgus and say, Balgus, come hold this hedgehog. It's pretty cool.
Walk over and hold it. Hey, it was
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah. You can feel it's cold against your hands as it kind of scurries back and forth, and you can see it looks like it's maybe a little bit agitated, kind of being passed around a little bit like that. And as you watch it, it kind of just curls up into a ball and sits still.
Uh,
Why is it
so how
cold?
much are these kids' toys?
As the hedgehog stops moving, Thwip, reaches up and he takes it from you, and is kind of curled up, and you see he takes something from underneath the little cabinet, and looks like some kind of little fork or a knife or something, and basically, as he's holding the little hedgehog, he says, "Well, now it's stopped." And he takes it and just sticks it in there, and
Oh God, what's
puts it
happening?
down, and it kind of pops his head back up, and it scurries around and runs back into its cage, and he closes it up and slides it to the side. And now, since you've mentioned one of the child's toys, he takes a little ball off a shelf, and he kind of bounces it on the shelf, and then you don't see exactly how he does it, but with some little trick of his hands, he spins it up on his finger, so it's kind of spinning around there, and as it spins, it just kind of opens up, and the edges of it fold down around his finger a little bit, and inside there are two what appear to be some type of little bird, although they look slick and not feathery, and they're just kind of these little black and white birds that twist around and flap their little arms, and they just kind of waddle next to each other and kind of dance. And as it slows down, the edges fold back up and just looks like a ball again. And he bounces on the table and rolls it over to you. And he says, "Oh, it's just something that I've looked at, something that I've tried in the past. It's not done well. Children don't have the dexterity for it."
I would like to spin the ball like I saw him do.
Yeah, Give me just a dexterity check.
I just want to point out these birds are awesome and have arms. They flap their
Yeah.
arms.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like they have hands on them or anything, but they have little,
They're-
out of character. They're penguins, but you guys aren't familiar with penguins. No, they don't look like normal little birds.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like a bird you're familiar with, like a sparrow or, seagull or something like that. That's why you see it as like a kind of a weird, it still looks like a bird, but kind of a weird looking bird. So Cal, as you kind of spin the ball, you kind of get it to bounce on your finger for a second, and you think that it starts to open up, but it quickly just kind of falls off your hand. You catch it before it falls, but you're not able to quite get it going on your first shot.
I'm just gonna stand in the back and just try to get it to spin on my
Yeah.
finger.
While the others are looking around, you just can practice trying to get this little thing to open up or not. And
Yep.
every once in a while he'll kind of look at you and be like, "Yes, you're doing fine. Yes, just like that. Keep your finger straight. Not on the nail. Not on the nail." That. Menphilius, anything catch your eye, or you want to talk to him about like maybe why you actually came here?
To be honest, I'm trying to remember why we came here to get him, because I remember it wasn't out of character. I remember I wasn't here that week. So
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the week that me and Nick were out of town. So
So
Belladora.
Kel can't just stand in the corner and
They can't know it. They can't just know.
yeah, they can know.
Yeah, so Belladora asked us to go up here and if we happen to be here, just to talk to him to see if there's anything we could do to help out around town.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you remember way back, Beldora was, one of the ladies who was in Bryn Shander, and I think you guys at least knew that she looks like a kind of a homeless lady, but in the time you talked to her, at least one of you guys had found out that she was part of the Harpers and was actually somewhat interested in, kind of protecting the area in a sense. And she had told you that on your way out that way, you should talk to Thwip. And, she hadn't really told you why, but she said you might as well stop by and see him on the way.
All right. Well, I'll introduce myself and tell Thwip that we came from Bryn Shander, and Beldora told us to talk to you.
Ah, yes, Beldora. She's a great lady. A little bit hard for her to keep a job up there, but she does fine. Yes. What were you doing in Bryn Shander?
Well, we were in Bryn Shander, and then Bryn Shander got attacked, and so we were we helped them fight off the ice giants. I really love your active listening, and we fought off some ice giants, and we talked to some people in the town, and Beldora told us to head down here and talk to you and see what we could do to help out.
Yes. Well, Beldora, was she hurt?
No, she wasn't hurt.
Good. Yes, well, here. Take this. If you're going to be out in the world, you can't be without one of these. And he kind of walks around his store, and he kind of lays his hand on different little things, and he picks up one little staff that's made out of iron, and as he grabs it, he twists it, and it kind of pops open, and inside you see kind of a glowing jewel, and it spins around and lifts the jewel up and holds it in this little pincher grips, and says, no, not this. And he sets it down, and he goes over and he picks up a crossbow, which you can see it's like a crossbow with a quiver that's somehow attached onto the bottom edge of it, and it has a little crank on one side, and as he spins it, a bolt from the little quiver pops up and loads itself in there, and the the little wire that acts as a string for it pops itself back and says, no, this wouldn't suit you either. And he takes off the bolt and sets it back down, and he has a shield there that he takes, and he gives it a good wrap on it, and when he hits it, spikes jump around the edges of it and almost like clamp down on it. He says, yes, this would be perfect for it. No, wait a second. I know what you need. And he brings out the dog that was up there, and he takes it down and he says, now this is truly something that will do you well.
Now, is this dog number 1 or dog number 2?
This is the first dog, and you can tell that, as you kind of look at it and he kind of demonstrates it to you, he kind of shows you a little bit of how it works, and it has over the top of it a fur, but he just pulls that off, and he tells you, I'll keep this. This was kind of a work in progress. I never did quite get it the way I wanted. This was the first one I made, but the other ones are doing well. So I think I'll keep the skin, but you're welcome to keep the innards. And you can see it's made of copper and tin, and he has a little copper wind-up key, which he shows you how you can, when it's sleeping, you can kind of just like pull open an eye and then stick the key right in there and crank it up. And he tells you, if you wind it up, it'll follow you for 12 hours at least. After that, it'll wind down, and you'll have to give it a good wind again. Now be careful with it. It's not the strongest thing. Pretty easy to break if you bring it into combat, but a good companion nonetheless.
What can it do for us?
Well, anything a dog could do. It's a tiny. No, it's not like a small-sized creature. It's the size of it's a tiny-sized creature, like a little tiny dog.
Chihuahua or something.
Yeah, like that size. But it's actually, so it's basically like the size of a little cat or something. But it's made to look like it's a copper and tin bulldog. So it's just small, and it can follow you around. It can't actually smell anything, but it would be able to follow people. It would be able to alert if it sees something. If you wanted to, it could try to bite something because it can pick stuff up in its mouth and carry it. But it's clearly not designed for to go into combat and have it hunt down your enemies.
Can I ask Ironbottom about all the other things that he took out and how much they would cost?
Yeah. He is really excited to think that you would be a customer of his too, and he tells you, are you interested in buying something? Yes, of course. These, now of course, this dog that I gave you is unfortunately not of the quality that I'd be willing to sell it. But the other things I assure you are all quite high quality, much more durable than this one, and no less complex. They range from anything from that ball, which would go for, I could probably sell that for perhaps 1,200 gold, all the way up to, of course, this iron golem, made completely magic-free, mind you. A working 100% accurate iron golem. 43,000 gold for that. What kind of price range are you thinking?
I was just wondering about the crossbow.
Oh, yes, the crossbow. It's a beautiful little thing, isn't it? Automatically loads itself as you. In fact, you just continue to and brings it out, and he sets it up, along the table, so it's pointing off to the side. And he just, as he's talking, he turns the crank, and you can see it just keeps loading a bolt in, pulling itself back, firing, load the next one in, pull the thing back, and fire, as he just is kind of holding the little trigger down and cranking on it. He said, "It is quite a nice little little thing here. Useful in combat, perhaps useful in hunting. I've heard you are quite the accomplished hunter. These things, it works well. Works underwater. Works freezing cold. Fireproof. A thing like this, I could probably part with it for as little as 14,000 gold.
I'll have to keep that in mind and maybe return to your shop at a later date.
Yeah, stop by any time. If this doesn't interest you, I also have just I give you a single bolt. Or I see you carry a short bow. I have an arrow that may interest you.
What is this arrow?
And he brings out a little steel arrow, and you can see that it doesn't have feathers on it or anything. It has a steel point, and it's kind of a little hollow tube, and then part of the tube kind of flips open, and he kind of demonstrates that if you hold it, you can kind of look through that part of it, and it has some type of lens in there where you can see pretty accurately, where the arrow is pointing, and he demonstrates that if you push it against the string, where it would be notched in on the string, the harder you press it against the string, it actually tilts that little thing up or down, and it has a little on the arrow tip. It has a little bit that twists in the wind a little bit, and that also kind of directs that thing side to side. And it tells you that with this, you will not easily miss a stationary target. Simply sight through here. It factors in how hard you pull back on it, the pressure from the string, the force of the wind. An arrow like this, as I say, a stationary target, an idiot could not miss. For 500 gold, I could give you an arrow like this.
Wondrous, but unfortunately that's slightly out of my price range at this point.
Ah, yes, well. I'll tell you what I can do. I can give you perhaps I give you just the lens itself, without the whole mechanism. I could fit this to an arrow for, let's say, 150 gold. Would that be more your price range? It won't be quite as accurate, but it'll be quite a step up from what you have now.
That's quite generous, but unfortunately I'll have to pass, and I'm going to very carefully set the ball down, realizing how much it costs.
Yes, and he kind of just looks at you and is like, yes, this is the problem I always have. Customers are far between. If I didn't make such an outrageous profit on each one, I don't know how I would make it through.
I want to ask about the pricing on the shield.
He tells you, yes, this shield is a trap shield. Anything that hits it, you'll almost certainly trap in the spikes and claws in front of you. So you can see how it'd be quite handy. Automatically grapple anyone who strikes you, if assuming, of course, you can get them to hit the shield and not your head. A shield like this, simple thing really. Spring action, simply press against the ground to reset it like this, and he shows you how it works. 2,500 gold, and I'll even throw in an automatically tightening set of straps for you, so tie itself onto your arm automatically. No longer takes an action to set up your shield. You can do it as a bonus action, because he knows a lot about the mechanics of how the world works.
I want to ask him if I can do work for him to pay off the shield. I can manage 500 gold myself, but then that's the end of my actual gold.
Yeah, since you seem interested and you want to make a persuasion check here, and do what he says. Yeah, you can see that he kind of gets a little twinkle in his eye, and he says, "Well, if you're so eager for this, let me show you what I can do." And he goes into the back room, and you see him kind of mess around a little bit, and you hear thuds and clangs and things like that. And he comes back out with a similar looking shield, although it has a couple little changes to it. First of all, you see that it doesn't actually have the full mechanism that the other shield has. And secondly, it has across the front of it, it says Twip Ironbottom, Inventor, like covering the entirety of the shield. It doesn't have the self-tightening straps. It doesn't have the quick reset function, but he does demonstrate that if you hit the front of it, it will spring out, and it will basically spring a little net onto anyone who hits your shield. And unfortunately, it'll take you a couple minutes to reset it. So you'd be able to do it basically once per combat. But he said that for 500 gold, I can give you this. It's not quite as good, but I often use this for demonstrations of the basic concept, and it would serve you fine in combat.
Can I offer to become just a walking whip billboard to get the real shield? Like, I'll just wear like labels and like everything that anyone sees about me, they'll see his name.
Sponsored by the Whip Ironbottom.
I want to make clear that I have killed frost giants, or the ice giants, whatever. Killed giants in 2 cities now, and sponsoring a great warrior like me who's becoming known with the crap.
With the crap.
In
what
Icelandville.
The Order of the Gauntlet,
Order of the Gauntlet.
and with the Lord's Alliance.
Yeah. He kind of asks you like, so are you a member of the Gauntlet or of the Alliance then?
I'd be willing to let his if he had a preference, I would be willing to join either one for him, basically.
Yes, well, I'm not sure that the Gauntlet would think much of you being a billboard, but the Lord's Alliance, yes, they'd be certainly okay with that. I'll tell you what, come back here in a few days and I'll see what I can work up.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else you guys kind of want to do in Hundlestone?
Did he tell us anything that we can do around the village to help out? Since
Uh,
that's what we came to ask him about.
Yeah, there wasn't really much else to ask about right there. As you guys are kind of getting ready to take off, he does tell you, he does let you know that if you're really looking to make a difference around here, it might be worth your while to check out the town of Everlund. It'll help you in your travels.
Was Everlund near here?
Everlund is not that close.
Yeah, I thought you said Everlund was down in Desert Valley.
Well, the other guy you met did mention Everlund, and he also mentioned the Desert Valley. But Everlund is, let's see if I can find it on the map again. It is okay. If you kind of zoom out on the map, you see Evermoors, and Everlund is over here, farther to the east,
Okay, I see it.
Yep, there it is. Okay.
kind of north of the High Forest. Anything else you guys want to check out? You want to on your way and stop back here later?
Could I go around and ask the miners about how they safely use black powder?
Yeah, you're able to spend a little bit of time, and you're able to find out quite a bit more about black powder. they do tell you the main thing is like don't use any metal tools around black powder. Um, that is definitely something you want to avoid because uh, you know it's quite easy, and um, you know they basically tell you that the powder that they use is not. Um, there's basically two different kinds, and there's kind of a stabilized black powder that some people use, especially like adventurers, and that's a lot safer to use. But for miners, they don't bother using that. They just are careful, and occasionally someone loses a hand. But for the most part, you dig out a narrow little crack in the rock, and you pack some powder in there, and then you can either get some kind of little string or fuse that you can set up for it, or oftentimes what they do is they just stand real far back and throw rocks near it until it goes off, and it'll break the rock open for you. And a couple of them kind of boast like, oh, I have an uncle who knew a guy who was able to carve statues on the rock with powder like that. That's how great he was at judging the right amount to use and where to put it. And someone else says like, oh yeah, we used to do ice sculpting with it because it was just so plentiful, and my second cousin is so rich that they would have people come out to their estate and carve ice sculptures with black powder. But you're not sure how much that you can trust.
Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to do.
All right, so where are you guys heading to next? We have a 10 minutes or so.
Should we head up to Bryn Shander?
Yeah, I think that was the plan. And our giant's ears make some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you make it back, in fact, I'll put you on the map of Bryn Shander again, just so we can remember where you are. Might play music again for us. All right. So, in Bryn Shander, there was a kind of a collection of people that you had met before, and of course they remember you, and Agrek, as you as you come into the city, you're coming from that south side again, so just like the first time, she's still there on the way into town, and let's see, what does she say again? Yeah, as you kind of come in, she calls out as she's kind of doing to the people who are coming up, and she just kind of starts her spiel that she keeps saying. Well met, travelers. Keep your fingers and extremities under wraps, lest I'll bite them off. Mind your tempers, and you'll be the. Wait a second! You've come back! Balgus, Kel, Minfelius! Tell me, did you make it down to Ironmaster?
Yes, we did. I went in and I was able to speak with the dwarves there, and I remember correctly, they said that they would get together a group of people to come assist here.
Oh, great! I couldn't have asked for more. Well, that'll do quite a bit to ease my mind that this town will be safe. My clansmen are just what we need around here.
I don't think they gave a timeline or anything like that. They just said that they would come help, right? Like, I don't have that kind of information to give her.
Right, you don't have that kind. Actually, he really only said that he would discuss it with the other elders and see what they could do. But they at least know of the problem.
You lied to her.
Yeah.
I'd just like to correct it and make it clear that they just said they would discuss it, but that I brought them the information.
Yeah. She's happy that you at least were able to go and talk to them, and she's sure that they'll make the right decision and be on their way shortly.
I feel like
But
she said there was some reward. Didn't she?
she didn't really offer you a reward, but you did get all those gemstones.
Oh, yeah.
When you went and talked to Gort.
I remember that now.
I mean, do you want to kind of head out to the bar or kind of search out some of these other people you met?
Go and find. Dang it, which guy was it?
So you had Sir Barrett.
Markham,
Yes.
Southwell, about the Giants, about patrolling Icewind Dale
Yeah.
and the giant ears.
Yeah. You stop by and he invites you in. He's not actually like there's a speaker who actually runs the town, but he's the sheriff, and he had deputized you kind of and given you some supplies to go out and just patrol a little bit, and if you remember, he'd kind of given you a note that said you're like unofficial business kind of. So when you come back and are able to kind of report to the office a little bit about what's happened, then he invites you in and he insists, "Oh yes, come in." And you're hearing your tale. He says, "Well, something must be done." And so he organizes a whole meal for you guys, and there's like not really a parade, but the speaker's there, a bunch of other people are there, and they all gather around and eat dinner with you, and he grants you guys the title of Defender of Icewind Dale, and he sends out runners. Although he says, "Now, Benfilius, I'm sure you could do this better than our men, but we will let your name be known throughout the 10 towns." And that based on how he's treating you and everything, you have a pretty good chance that the people of this area are going to be quite friendly with you. You don't have to worry about upsetting them too much. And even though Fireshare isn't really one of the 10 towns here, it's a little bit outside the area. You think there's even a good chance that if they hear about all the good you've been doing all these other places, that maybe they won't mind letting you in the village there again too.
Are we at the dinner already?
Yeah.
Or is he still working? Okay. At the dinner, I want to make sure that I want to tell people about the story of when we fought the giants in Fireshare, since that's what the townspeople asked me to do.
Yeah.
Want to go tell them about that, and although they asked me to play down their role or play down our role, I'm just going to say that we worked together. I'm not gonna completely take us out of the picture.
Sure. Yeah. The people understand that you were there and that you saved that town, and they're just even more impressed with you. And like two of the little kind of heralds have already started to kind of take off to nearby towns, and he sent someone else to go get them back and bring them back and update them. Like, no, bring them back. They must know this too.
At the end of Menphilius' song, I'd like to speak up and say, "Work together, they just hid in their mountains."
Yeah, and you can tell the people are kind of just like, "Oh," and they're like, "Oh, I guess."
Oh.
So Menphilius made it sound good, and they like, you can't tell. Some of them you think are kind of like, I think Kel's just kind of trying to take advantage of the situation here, and they're like, Menphilius wouldn't lie to us, and a couple of them were like, "Oh, surely not everyone hid."
Can I like roll a persuasion roll to see how well they believe me?
Sure. Yeah, you can make a persuasion roll as well.
Shoot.
Yeah, and they're just kind of like grumble a little bit, like, "Oh man, Philly sounds like a real good guy, and I don't know about. You seem like you have some sour grapes going on here about this village that you try to save, not being good enough." And you hear one guy from the back kind of shout like, "Not all of us can fight giants."
Ain't that the truth?
I'm gonna tell them all that Kel just meant it in jest.
You're like, he kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they kind of laugh a little bit, and you lighten the mood, and they're like, "Oh yes."
Drunk again.
Yeah, they kind of just like, "Oh yes, yeah, they do love their mines," and they all just kind of laugh about it. And after the dinner, kind of the next afternoon, a couple of people approach you, Lisa and Neramos. They come up to you and they kind of they're guys who are wearing these big thick cloaks, and Neramos doesn't even have his left arm anymore. You can tell these are rough and tumble type of people. They tell you Lisa says, "Oh, you're the new heroes! So good to have you in our town. Yes, we're actually here on the behalf of the government of Mirabar. We've been looking for a fugitive known as the Weevil, a terrible bandit." And she basically asks you if you guys would be willing to help out on behalf of the town of Mirabar, seeing as how you've helped the 10 towns so much and have done well. And would you guys be interested in trying to find the Weevil for them?
Guys, it's gonna be what's his name that got mad at us for killing the reindeer. He's gonna be the Weevil.
I'm game. I want to find the Weevil.
I want to look at him and say, "What do we get out of it?"
Yeah. They're looking for this guy, but they don't. How many of these things open? Now, actually, you guys would remember that Sir Barrick was also trying to find the Weevil.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that it would be the same guy, because he also kind of gave you this idea that he was, a bandit who he was kind of searching for. But
maybe he's
Soralisa. Yeah. Soralisa, she says that they're trying to find him, and that Mirabar has been trying to get him back and get him captured again because of his kind of evil deeds, and they're trying to find him, and there's not much of a reward that she would be able to offer, but they do say that if you're able to capture him and get him over to her and Neramos, that there is a reward that they've been authorized by the town of Mirabar to pay, and assuming you can get him alive and get him back over there, she has a bunch of gemstones, and she kind of shows you a little collection of them, and you think that it'd probably be worth around 4 to 5,000 gold.
How much is he worth to you dead?
And yeah, she makes it clear that he wouldn't be worth anything dead. That they want him alive. But she does tell you that they do think that he's not in any of the kind of major cities around there. They think probably one of the smaller settlements in the north area somewhere, and she gives you a sketch of him also, so you'd be able to find him. He's a dark-haired dwarf with a mad gleam in his eyes. And he says that Mirabar would really like to get him back. It does tell you that they're staying at the Gelden Stag Rest here in town.
The Golden Stag?
It's actually Gelden Stag.
Oh.
I believe. Although, maybe it's just a typo on this page. Let's check the actual town. Yes, Gelden Stag's Rest.
Okay.
Which, if I close like a million of these things so I can see the map again, show you where it is. It is over near the east gate. It is right over here. You saw where I was pointing there.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's 11 o'clock here, or whatever time it is for where you guys are. So this is basically drawing to a close. If you guys want to spend a couple more minutes catching up with anybody else in town, we could probably do that, or we can end it here.
I would say save it for next time.
Okay.
I don't think I have anybody to talk to.
Yeah. So you still have Sir Beric that you talked to before. Beldora, you'd basically finished her stuff. Agrek, you had finished, what she had asked you to do. Markham, you had, you'd been rewarded by him basically. Although you haven't, he didn't really pay you anything. He just, gave you a title that will help take care of you. The other people that you originally had were Sirac, and he had kind of been offering to kind of go with you or whatever to look to the south. And let's see what else. Devesa, they kind of give you a quest, and Sir Beric. So you had 3 of them that you haven't really, completed yet.
Did we get anything for the giant ears, or was that just also included in the title?
Yeah, basically, he saw your proof that you had killed these giants, so he, rewarded you with a title, and it's not worth much cash, but you're on good terms with the people around you.
Every
Okay.
noun is its own room.
Yeah.
All right. So then next week we're not going to meet, but the following week we are going to move to Fridays. I believe is a plan. Does that work for everybody here?
Yeah.
Are we doing the same time?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably same time frame. Maybe we have more freedom to go a little bit later on Friday nights. I don't know about how you guys all feel about that.
Yeah, let's start with going at the same time, and then we'll see how it went, and then if you want to add a little bit of time, we could do that. So join us 2 weeks and a day from now.
That'll be the new time of the stream and everything. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, you can catch the videos on YouTube if you want to rewatch any of the scenes or any of that. Thanks for watching. Have a nice night, everybody.